chunks that just roll down there. It's always interesting when a spider web comes out. You get some sort of auger in there or something? Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's more of a paddle wheel. Okay. The auger would have same idea. Thing rotating. Just to push it. Pushing. Yeah. And then and then you got your levers in there. The what?
I guess we're live. I wasn't paying attention and the video ran out. Howdy. Now let's see, we got a few over here in the chat. We got Michael, Kyle, Dave, Ralph, Dwight, somebody by the name of Touch of the Brush, whatever he is, Nathan, Rob. And we got Joe over here on the panel. Eric was here, but he disappeared. He's working on his layout. Brad just popped in. Good day. So, what's been going on with everybody?
Got one of my Arkansas, Missouri shirts, which I'm very happy about.
Yeah. Okay.
Since I work for the excursions out of Springdale and Van Buren.
Yeah.
I'm a ticket sales agent in Van Buren.
Hey, Michael, he just popped in. He's pitching. We're listening.
Montana Railing, man, that'd be actually a fun company to work for.
Yeah.
I work for the Arkansas, Missouri.
Sorry about that. My guy won't talk to me.
Well, you got anything going on, Joe?
With big bills. Bigger isn't necessary.
Better.
Yeah. Bigger is always better. Is that what it was? Yeah.
Bigger is not necessarily better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a second show last night. And Eric's doing a little remodeling on his.
Yeah. This board looks slanted.
Mid-floor isn't level. That happened to me.
I think the tripod's not level.
Well, this I screwed in a while ago. It's a little makeshift wall. And then I was screwed into the wall. This little wall.
Happened to my first shelf layout.
Yeah.
Oh, my board could be completely level, but on the wall look completely slanted in one spot, and that's just because the walls were all. I mentioned from the floor to where I wanted to hide the layout to be, and that was a mistake because the floor wasn't level at all. So I had to redo a lot of my shelving before I was able to put row bed and track up. Because one whole side of the layout started on a slant. All my cars would just roll, and they don't want them rolling off the table. So I had to measure from the ceiling down, even though that was still tricky.
Yeah, my layout part would be not finished, but all the wood and stuff would be up within 3 weeks because my budget giving me the rest of the wood for the rest of the first level plus the second level.
Nice.
Because I'm modeling. Oh, Joey, I forgot to ask you. Would you, by chance, want this? Connor ST70?
Soon, maybe eventually when I
Well, sell it to you
work a
because
little
I'm
more.
modeling Pennsylvania Railroad now.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk privately about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a few more drop in, Michael.
Good evening, one-track-minded people. That's great.
Yeah, that's Jerry. Dave, he's in here now. Who was it that asked? But anyway, Ralph's show starts on 12th of February, so
Nice.
that'll be about 2 weeks from now.
I still gotta drill something.
But did you say you caught the replay on Bill's show last night, Joe?
A little bit. I tried the best I can to listen to a lot of it. It was very interesting. Bill is a genius when it comes to track planning.
Yeah, he does do a good job.
I've always wanted to know how. My mind can never wrap around designing a layout where the trains are ground level, all of a sudden they end up on a second level through like multiple tunnels, or I mean, to me, to plan that and have one track in the tunnel go one way, all of a sudden the bottom track goes somewhere else and it ends up on the other side of the layout, or that stuff, it boggles my mind how you design that stuff. Because actually, if you can design those things as well as have the room for it, and actually, you really don't need the room. Actually, you can have a small layout, and by doing that, there's more of a mainline run. But yes, sometimes you may have to have the room to accomplish that.
Yeah, one of these days I got something I'm going to run by. I know what his answer would be. Are you nuts?
Yeah. Well, that's what my first layout in the apartment when I lived in Tennessee. Everybody thought I was crazy trying to put a double-decker layout, 11 by 11 space with a helix or a huge incline.
Well, hello, Nathan.
Of course, that didn't work. Go on, Nathan.
Good evening, gentlemen.
I didn't know if you could hear me or not.
Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Perfect. I bought a brand new webcam. Trying it out. Finally got good. With the 2020s and a 16:9 ratio, all that mess. So.
Which camera is it?
Logitech C920.
Yeah, that's what most of us use.
Yeah. It's pretty nice. I like it so far.
It's pretty much just a plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I did is I plugged it in a USB port. It doesn't like my setup here because I'm having to use a switcher box now since I have two desktops. And I thought I'd get smart and I put a USB hub on top of that and run it into the switcher box for my keyboard and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, the microphone and the C920 didn't like that going through the hub. So the microphone has to be plugged into each computer while I'm using it. So I just swapped something else out on the switcher to the hub and put the microphone, the camera back on directly on the switcher. It works.
Good deal.
Actually, I wish I could put this picture I found on a computer, but we're talking about bigger isn't necessarily better. And this is the 4x8 layout. that my father and I built when I was 8, and this was in our one-bedroom apartment before we bought a house. And if I could put it up here, but this is a double-decker 4x8.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we had
HO,
subway
right?
in the bottom. Yep, HO, 2 level, 4 track, 4 main lines, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom.
They
Couple of
cross
industry.
over?
What's up, Johnny?
Does the top and bottom cross with each other, or are they just independent?
No, they're both separate.
Yeah. That's DC then.
Yeah, they're both separate. Oh yeah, this is before DCC was. I think
Yeah.
DCC was still in the testing bed. This was 1997.
Yeah. That wasn't that far off, Joe.
No, very close. And yeah,
Smart
so
Alec.
I thought that was pretty pretty cool. And some structures my father scratch built when he already started.
Yeah.
So
All right.
it was a lot, yeah, so it was a lot of fun to build.
Yeah.
We made a new layout every year. We had this one for 2 years.
So you like what I got going on here, Eric? He put in the comments, I'm trying to be Elvis.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a cool layout. It was fun. I was always excited when he came home and could run stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, back then, I mean, you couldn't have much in the center because it'd be too hard to get to it on the lower level, but
Yep, and it was simple, just taking 2 4x8s, curving them with a jigsaw, painting the bottom of one black, and obviously the top one. Well, the top one would be just the layout itself. So
yeah.
I don't know if you probably can't interchange it. They go up and down. In the 4x8, there's a design to do it.
Yeah.
But on top we had like 2 industries, 3 industries, and we called the bottom. We had one main station with a couple of lights underneath, and we ran our passenger trains on the bottom and our freight trains on top.
Yeah.
Those older cars, you know how Bachman and Lifelike, all those cars used to light up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And really, I mean, they still do, but really bright. Now you have the nice LEDs inside.
Yes, Adrian, you did make it. But we're about to close down in 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Ralph wants to know what room that layout was in.
Oh, it was in the living room. The layout was in the living room. That's where we had the television for the longest time, and then we put it on the TV stand. Of course, that TV stand was always top heavy, it fall on top of me, but it was well worth having that layout up on top of that little big cabinet desk. Forgot what we had. It was a little China cabinet. So yeah, that probably was a little dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. Eric said when he was alive in the 70s, those types of 4x8 layouts was fascinating for him. He loved to follow the trains along the paths they made.
Oh, it was always fun, and of course we had our stuff in bins, or actually, well, those big Eagle boxes, and open it up and it's like, oh, let's run everything. We'd be like hours of just running stuff on a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Nathan lost his camera.
Oh, no, I'm just trying to figure it out.
Oh.
I see the swapping button.
Oh.
It goes to nothing, so.
Well, if you got another camera, it'll go to that.
Goes to another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I downloaded the Logitech stuff, and there was something about another camera. Yeah.
Oh.
That's good information to have. Now I have to buy 2 of these. Oof.
Well, what I do is I got my Handycam cameras on the workbench, and I've got a 5-port switcher, HDMI switcher, because all my cameras do HDMIs out. And then I bought a HDMI to USB converter and run that in. So it brings cameras in HDMI, but the computer and everything sees them as webcams because they're USB. I mean, it works. And it wasn't all that expensive. A switcher I didn't pay, but I think $20 on Amazon for it. Now the HDMI to USB, Amazon's got it for around $100, and I can't remember who has it now for $58, I think it is, for that. So,
Oh wow!
I was surprised at the 5-camera switcher. It actually came with a infrared remote, which I'm not crazy about. But I can use the button on the switch box to switch between cameras.
I'm just going to ask about a camera. Something that probably be better image than one on my computer.
You can't really beat that C920 from Logitech. You paid what, about $60 for it, Nathan?
62, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're down about. Yeah, it's plug and play, especially if you got Windows. You just plug it in, it goes to working right then.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can do like Nathan and load up the full Logitech package, and we'll watch his camera go on and off, and reverse images and all that good stuff. Yeah.
You put myself in a little picture-in-picture at the bottom, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You flick it one way, and then you see someone in the government just watching you.
Uh-oh, what's going on there? Come on, zoom it. Come on. Okay.
He'll get
Are my eyes going out? Oh, goodness.
No, it's a little blurry.
Yay.
That's one of the problems you have using Logitech software. If you probably turn that off and just let the camera and Windows work, you won't have that zoom.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's what the button's for. It's for.
Yeah, the switching button. That's what it's for. There it is.
Because you actually want to make sure you got follow the face turned off, because that'll really drive the camera nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about having one in the corner of on my little studio here, so I could zoom down and do live YouTube videos, either on some of the weathering work I do or on layout building. Just chat with folks. So that's a good idea for that kind of camera. Good deal too.
Adrian said, yeah, the government wouldn't see anything but the train tracks getting cut to fit.
Does anyone know how you transform a brass DC switch into a DCC switch?
I wouldn't.
I have a buddy who's given me like 40 DC brass switches for like $20.
Yeah, you're going to have problems with those being brass, because they're going to oxidize on you. You'll be cleaning them things every day.
Well, he has his layout. It's all completely brass, and it's all DC, and he hasn't had a single problem with it in years.
Yeah.
There's I see a lot of guys still using brass track, even up to this day, and have DCC layouts and all that.
Because I have ESU cab control, and I want to run that.
Andy says you need to isolate the frog. You got to cut isolation gaps in the rails. Go look Fast Tracks. I don't know the website right off, but if you go to their website, go down to templates and just look at any of their templates. They're free to download, and it'll show you where to isolate the frog, where you make the cuts. But then what you're going to have to do is solder a wire to the frog, drop it through the layout, so you can hook it up to a either a frog juicer or set a switch up so that you can switch the polarity, because you'll be creating a short in the frog. That's the biggest difference between DC and DCC.
I remember even back in the day having the brass track, and it was always a hassle.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it too when I was growing up on the 4x8, but then I finally started buying the nickel plate track.
The coolest thing ever was when I was little was picking up a piece of Co 100 flex track. Going, oh, this is cool.
Did every chance tell you guys what I'm modeling now?
I didn't catch that, Eric.
Yeah. Did every chance tell you guys what I'm modeling now instead of the Conrail era?
And y'all hear him because he's on his cell phone.
No,
he drifted out.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Much better.
Did I tell you guys what I'm modeling now on Mehmet Road?
No.
At the Pennsylvania Road, UNC branch, it ran from Decatur, Indiana, just south of Fort Wayne.
That's a good route. Steam with diesel.
Thinking diesel or transition era.
Because with a transition, you can have a couple steam switchers.
Yeah.
Just working the yards and have the freights as diesel power.
Yeah, that's why I was interested in transition.
Actually, yeah, check what kind of trains they had on that route. There's some interest.
This line was practically unknown of. I managed to find one track plan for it, and that's all I could find on the whole entire road. If you're a PR UNC branch,
no, I haven't.
We're losing Joe. Hey, Chris, he just popped in a minute ago. GRE is in too. Yeah, a lot of them are saying Eric don't use the brass, but one thing.
I'm getting in such a good deal. Okay.
Yeah, deals are always the best deals.
What?
Not necessarily the best deal.
For brass switches?
Yeah.
Ken just jumped in too, Amos.
I was even debating selling my cab control and going straight DC and having 2 blocks, one for the big yard on the road, because there's only going to be 1 yard on the road for the track plan, and then having just the main line be its own, because there practically is only 1 train running on it. There's like 20 industries on the whole line. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. DC would be tough to do with all those sidings and switches. You have to isolate and create blocks. You better have in DCC.
Yeah, Ralph's saying brass is not a good deal, Eric. You're better off sticking with nickel silver.
Yeah.
The regular silver track.
Yeah, I counted the switches on my road. There's like 50 of them. That's why I was sort of trying to go cheaper.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are a few things you don't want to cheap out on.
Yeah.
That's
I always tell people, very good running locomotive, great bench work. Spend money on bench work, your track, your wiring, and a very, very good locomotive. You can always upgrade rolling stock. I mean, yes, you can upgrade locomotives too, but especially starting out, have something that runs really, really well. Mm-hmm. And then as far as scenery, you can do whatever.
Yeah.
Trust me, I cut my corners in the past and made those mistakes. I'm not making those mistakes anymore, especially with track wiring.
Well, I guess the next show Bill needs to do is cheaper. It's not necessarily better. Yeah.
There are a lot of times where, I mean, you know, if you have a really good deal on, let's say, eBay or on Facebook or somewhere, you know, especially like rolling stock, if it's missing a wheel or a coupler, what's the big deal? You know, you can get a big package of that, and you're only spending $8-9, and especially if you're getting a car for $10, that well, if the coupler was on there or the wheel was on there, it'd be worth like 30 or 40. And at the end of the day, it's not, if it's going to be in your collection, then it's invaluable. Yes, well, so bulletproof your track as much as you can on the quality. I agree. I'd rather spend $20 on each switch, knowing that they're going to run really well, and I'm not going to have problems.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I first got back into it, I was going to, because Piedmont Division has layout tours once a month, and I catch a few of those and go around looking at them, and some of them were pretty big. I get to them, and of course, you know, it's open house, so they're going to have a lot of stuff running anyway, and these are big half basement, full basement layouts, and of course, these engines would get around to the back side and start stalling out and everything else, and everybody was just going, well, you don't have enough power in the back of the layout and all. And I was going, well, okay. Then I started looking at the, I knew I was going to do ditch tracks, but I was looking at their different systems and thinking, yeah, these guys got those really big layouts, but they're still stalling in the back. I didn't know anything about boosters and all, but come to find out later, it just they didn't have enough feeders dropped, you know, to power the track all the way around.
That 4x8 layout in the apartment, the old one, I think there was 2 feeders on one side, 2 on the other for each loop.
Yeah.
And we never had a problem. And again, after a few layouts, and my father was a big N scale collector too, so he had the old DC N scale, which barely ran. But with that, and as well as the HO stuff being DC, we learned that how wiring is so darn important. And Andy had a good comment here. He said, "Go small and focused, and get the good stuff." For me, I would rather have 2 good locos and a small layout with a DCC++ than a basement Empire with poor components. Absolutely agree on that. That's with the room I have, and I explained this so many times. The space I have is perfect because it's not too big and yet not too small. I can handle it. And with the track plan, I went through 8 track plans in the past 3 months, and to a point where I'm happy with the loop. And having only maybe certain industries and a storage yard, or pick up a drop off a yard, which is only like 4 tracks, 4 staging tracks, or we want to call it, and but have a variety in rolling stock on the industry. So instead of having like 20-30 switches, or you know, and 5 to each industry, have 1 or 2, but it may need different cars. Different kinds of rolling tracks, so 2 different kinds in each makes it more fun, less wiring, less tracks, less expensive too, and it's easy to maintain for the most part.
Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta talk to my grandma quick.
All right.
Andy said, "I've seen this many times. People save money, then end up happy, and all the stuff they saved money on ended up in a box in the closet." Yeah, I've seen that happen too. I've been there. if I know it's gonna be in a closet, I'll just sell it. Let someone else enjoy it. Actually found another cool picture. Yeah. It's actually going to be featured on my new diorama. This is the depot scratch built by my father. It it's located in Congress, New York, on CSX's River Line.
Okay.
And now you can actually go inside a station, and it looks like a station, but it's a nice park there. You can go on up top and rail fan. The track goes right in front of the building. There's a fence, a small chain link fence, and you can just sit there and watch trains go by. But back in '95, this is what it used to look like. I have the glare here.
Yeah.
That's how close it is to the track, and it was well, I think there was some equipment, vehicle equipment in there for the roads in the town, and they converted it. But this is the station here, and it needs some tender, loving care, and probably I'm going to repaint it to the color originally was. And obviously, it was like that old grout sandpaper on top as a roof, so very inexpensive, and it was foam gator board inside, and wood that was cut, piece of wood that were cut, and styrene on top, and the windows were pre-made. And I don't, did he still make this brick? It's a it's like a foam board, but it's engraved with brick, a brick engraving.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody's got that.
I haven't seen it in so long. I've been looking all over the place for it, but
I
that's
know
how
they got
they
it in
make it.
styrene.
Yeah, that's true too. And yeah, and he said one last point. Yes, the hobby can be expensive, but enough nickel flex and a few turnouts is a couple $100. The money is in equipment and large layouts. Yeah. If you're gonna build a huge layout, have a huge yard, obviously you want locomotives and cars to fill it. So that's where it gets expensive too.
Yeah. Joe just popped in. How you doing? All right, Chris, ready just second Andy's statement. Do I hear a third?
I
Me,
Final
fourth.
vote. All right, this thing don't quit jumping around on me. All right.
And you can buy all the DCC sound locomotives you want if you have the money, but I have a lot of DC engines that I purchased that are definitely DCC ready. So it's easy for me to install a decoder, and it's actually cheaper. So you could get a really good DC locomotive, $50, $80, depends where you purchase it from, and a $50 to $80 decoder because $160 locomotive compared to the $350 you're spending.
Yeah. All right, said go in scale and save. I ain't seen no savings in N scale. We're doing good, Joe. How about yourself? Yeah. Adrian said not snap track, flex track. Yeah, I need to call John tomorrow. Ain't been over in several months. Get that lift up wired up and going. He'll be able to run his train all the way around then.
Aries says, I keep thinking about building a small HO scale switching layout, but the cost is scary. Depends how big you're going. If you're making a 1 foot or 2 feet, 2 foot width and 2 feet in width, and if you're doing 10, 10 feet in length, are you doing 20 feet in length, or are you doing 8 feet in length? Because um, obviously, the bigger, the more expensive it's going to be. Um, I would say, just to give you an estimate how many industries you would like on your layout, you could go the route that I'm going, have one major industry and have a variety of rolling stock. So you can, like I have, I'm building something where it's an appliance factory or manufacturing plant, and it needs high cube box cars. High cube box cars are take out the finished products. Going in, they need coil steel cars. So you can have one track where you have two box cars, two coil steel cars, or two different tracks. In my case, I'm having one track, but instead of adding, well, I was going to add a scrapyard somewhere on the layout, but obviously you're going to have scrap metal coming out of that manufacturing plant. So I'd rather have a switch within the industry that goes to a couple of cars for scrap. So just right there alone are two switches. And if you're looking at very good micro engineering or Pico or Atlas, you're looking at between $15 to $25 a switch, and that just depends how much you want to spend and how well you want. The snap switches are the best ones. I think Atlas makes them too. Um, your money should definitely go towards your switches and your track first and foremost. Like I said, with this building, probably cost my dad $10 to make. That's it, maybe less.
Yeah, probably less.
Probably $5. I have so made gated board, and I actually built a factory building that's sort of in the garbage now, but a factory building only cost me $4.
Ari's been talking about doing that little one. Chris Reed just told him he had 4 letters for him. Toma, Toma.
And what I did I was an O scale collector for a while, and I wanted to switch to HO. So instead of spending extra money, I sold a lot of my other collection off because I could purchase the HO stuff. So there's also that route. If you have a, like, maybe you want to sell some stuff on eBay on the side or a yard sale, put some money away so you can have it for your next layout.
Yeah.
Actually, that's how my business started. I was bartering with other model railroaders, and then I was gaining actual money, physical money for it. And then it became a not part-time, a side business for me. And it went towards other finances and budgetings than just train stuff. So so that's kind of what I'm getting at. If you have stuff you can sell off, and you could be easier financing it too that way.
Yeah, the only thing I got to sell off is the kid. He's already gotten too old. Nobody wants him. I keep telling him he's house trained.
Well, I weathered a lot of different scale stuff just to weather it, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? Like, I don't collect I don't have O scale layout. I don't have a D scale layout, so I sell them off.
Adrian's got a good idea. He says get a black hoodie and rob a bank. You'll get more money out of a Waffle House than you will a bank, Adrian.
See, I could probably wear this hat at the bank and no one would know. But like, they'd be like, what symbol? He had a symbol on his hat, a blue hat, and I don't know what it said on there. But I'll get like the one model railroader in the bank that absolutely recognizes it. It goes, he's wearing a Conrail hat.
Yeah. Andy was telling him he's got to have some good connections to be able to have a layout in his jail cell.
trading cigarettes for trains. They give you 2 cigarettes for a switch. Nowadays, a drone can drop the parts in. Little care packages.
Yeah.
No food, no drink. Just stuff to build a layout. Oh, Tim's here. Well, he's trying to come on.
Yeah, he's got to feed it a few more quarters.
What's up, Joey? Johnny?
Howdy.
Nathan?
Tim?
Congrats on the big promotional deal today, Joey.
I know. I was super excited. I woke up and go, hey! Finally! Scale Trains featured one of my YouTube videos. I weathered one of their Dash 9s and created a toaster unit, and they recognized one of my videos on their Facebook page. Those models are spectacular. And it was so much fun to weather because the details. There's so many details on those river counter locomotives, and it makes it so much easier to weather or paint because you can see the details there. I actually have another client who has 2 more scale trains, and I think they're SD40-2s, which that's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, for those of you that didn't catch last night's show, Bill announced who his guest was for next week. That's going to be Joe Fugate. They'll be talking about the Thomas system.
That'll be fun. I mean, I'm trying to remember the DVD. It's buried over here. But on Train Masters, they featured his Siskiyou line layout, and he realized how big his layout was when he had to maintain it and clean all the track and redo the trains for the upcoming tour, an open house for his layout. And that's, I mean, he's very busy with his magazine, as he should be, and I'm glad he is, because it's a very, very good magazine. I enjoy it, the online one I have. And, then obviously your layout's going to be neglected. It's like for the past 2 years, I've been weathering and painting doing everybody else's trains for the business for my clients, and I haven't touched my trains in 2 years.
Yeah.
So just to, for Joe, it's when he went back to start cleaning the layout, he's like, wow, I forgot how big this is. And he has a mushroom design.
Yeah, Rob made a comment about soldering all of his flex track, and he was telling him that's not really a good idea. Yeah, just anytime you got curves, you want to solder those, but you want to stagger the joints too, about 6 inches apart. Make sure the track is straight when you do solder it, and then curve it around. Another thing too is Big Bill just popped in. He could attest to this. Do not, I will say it again, do not, under any circumstance, solder your turnouts to your track. Leave the rail joiners loose. It will make life a lot easier if you got to pull a turnout and swap it out. You can just slide that rail joiner back, lift it out, drop your new one back in.
Cut the first 2 spike head details off your
off your track going into the turnout.
Do
So you
what?
can have, so you can slide the rail joiners back.
Yeah. Well, I always just take a chisel blade and cut the notches out of it. That way it slides back.
Yep.
Big Bill's comment was, let me get back over here so I can see it again. He said that's all happening on the #1 mile railroading show in the world.
I still want an MRL shirt, by the way, Johnny. I'll buy it. I like them. We should make those big #1 those foam ones. I forgot what they're called.
Big finger, big finger,
yeah,
one finger.
Yeah, but railroading live on it.
I'm trying to think. There's a company that makes those.
Makes what?
For the big foam finger one.
Oh.
Or the company that makes custom ones. I can't remember who they are now. You can actually order what you want on it.
I could always make the underwear you could put on your head. It just go like this really fast. Look at this.
I don't think feeders had that much resistance to it, Adrian. He's talking about feeders might have some resistance to them.
So after 7-8 months of trying to figure it out and then procrastinating and everything else going on in my personal life, I finally figured out how to put the MU cables on the locomotive. And I finally got them started on this one and the other ones. So, I'm not afraid anymore.
Yeah. You figured out they didn't go up on the very top, huh?
And throughout the whole time, Tim has taught me when you're drilling in holes, do not take the top off of this little box here, because you will lose all your drill bits on the floor, in the rug, in the abyss. I didn't know that this slides, and they slide out each individually. So now I have like 6 little bits in one little compartment, and I don't know which one's what, so I just guess now. But at least they're not lost anymore.
You need a set of calipers so you can measure them.
I'm just a klutz.
Yep.
Either something falls or I pop it and go, oh, that's not supposed to happen like that.
That or get a drill bit size chart.
Yeah, that's true too. And they're already drawn on it, so you could just match it.
Adrian said get yourself a magnet to get them up off the floor and find them.
I use bubble gum and a stick.
No, Joey, they make a size chart that actually has the holes in it for the drill bit.
Oh, yes.
And it'll tell you the size.
Gotcha.
For that hole. The drill bit that fits in that hole is that size. And it works for rod, too. You know, just straight, regular rod.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that, Tim, because I was going to make sure to tell him that it has to fit the hole. Don't force it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It slides smoothly. It doesn't. You don't have to twist it as you're going in.
No.
Well, Michael Bettino just purchased him a proto throttle and can't wait to get it.
I still say them things are way too expensive.
Joel said drop feeders and suitcase connectors. So far, so good. I use suitcase connectors. I never really had a problem with them, but there are better ways to enforce your wiring. And I actually mentioned that in my newest video on YouTube for building this diorama. That I was like, remember, I use suitcase, but I hate them. At least I don't like these things, but they work.
Yeah. The thing to remember about suitcase connectors is make sure you get the right ones for the gauge of wires you're working with.
Yes.
Because they do make dual gauge suitcase connectors.
Mm-hmm. Tell you
Most
what,
of your suitcase connectors you pick up, they're both the same gauge wire.
I'll tell you what I'm using on John's, I like it a lot better than the suitcase. Not that much more expensive either. I'm using those lever lock connectors. They make those for different gauges too, but I mean, I'm running 18 gauge stranded wire on the bus line, and the feeders are like 22 gauge solid, and I just pull it down through there and but the wire in there, close the lever. I mean, it locks down on it too, and I'm not cutting into the insulation because you got to strip off about a 1/4 inch and stick it up in there. Now, them things are a bear to open up because when I first got them, I was messing with it and I didn't want to force it and break it, but then I finally figured out you just got to really pull on it hard to get that lever up. But once you got the wire in there and you close that lever, that wire is not coming out.
I just do like a Western Union splice. I strip a little bit of the wire back and spread it. And I wrap the wire, my feeder wire around my bus wire, and then I solder it, and then I coat it with liquid electrical tape.
I think those I got are the Wagos.
Yeah.
What is that?
Terminal block.
Yeah.
These worked really well. I'll recommend these more than the suitcase connectors. I know you actually made these.
Yeah.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you run on the scale, same, kind of like that.
I mean, those work good, but with John's, he's got so many damn turnouts and everything in there, and some of the feeders are spread apart, so I just use the lever connectors. It just made life a lot easier.
Yeah, we discussed these with Sam one day, and because he was trying to figure out how to make one of these just a junction block to where they're all, you run one wire into it and they're all power.
Yeah.
I found these at Choo Choo Barn up there in Pennsylvania, and what they are is they're a little clip, and these aren't quite the right gauge for this one. Well, I guess they are, but they just, and all they do is you back your screws off and slide that down in underneath your screw, and that makes that a jumper.
Yeah, makes it hot.
That's what that red and black one on mine were.
Yeah. I've got another terminal block here that gap there is not wide enough to fit. The insulator between the branches is fatter.
Yeah.
On it.
Yeah, Jerry, lever lock. Look it up on Amazon. That's where I got mine. I think they're Wagos. WAGO is the brand.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
The same company that make those little blocks that I have. Leveler lock, Johnny?
Yeah,
level lock.
Lever.
Okay. These suitcase connectors, they came in 3 different gauges for different wires.
Yeah.
I think I got 3 for like $5 on Wish.com.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right from China.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be careful with those, Joe, because sometimes you can clamp down. That's actually a knife blade that goes in to connect the wire, and you will cut your wire.
Oh, yeah, I've done that.
Yeah. The lever
That's
lock.
That makes you get the right gauge.
The lever lock nuts, you're not cutting anything. It's just spring loaded, and it really clamps down on the wire.
Oh wow. Level lock bolts, nuts, mounting. Oh no, never mind. That's for Harley Davidson. I think
Lever
Lever.
with an R, Joey.
yeah, lever.
I think Chris just put
Okay.
the link to Amazon in the chat.
They also make a another one. It's a T. You clamp it on your main wire, and then you put a spade connector into the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh these. Oh okay, these things.
But it's a lot like a suitcase connector. You gotta get the right gauge for the wire you're using.
These things, Johnny.
No, it's got real thin levers to it.
Wago
But
lever
yeah,
nuts.
yeah. I mean that's getting close to the ones I got.
Okay.
The ones I got, you can get them in 3, 4, 5 wires at a time.
Wow, you get a lot in this set.
Chris was saying there's also the posi lock.
Yeah.
But it looks like those will work just fine too.
Wow, 75 piece for $20. That's not bad at all.
It's what?
75 pieces on Amazon of those level lock nuts.
For how much?
Lever. Yeah,
How much?
$20.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Are you sure those are using a spring, Johnny, and not just cam action to hold it?
Could be, I'm not sure. All I can tell you is it's a bear to pull that lever up, but it makes one good solid connection.
Interesting. Never saw those before. Well, it's been 2 years ago since I even heard of the suitcase connectors. And no one can surpass these babies from back in the day either, you know?
Yeah. Chris Ray
Still
just
let myself
put
things up with stuff.
Chris just put the link in for the posi connectors too in the chat. But he said he recommended Wago.
Oh, these things, yeah.
Let's see if you got the right one this time.
No.
Well, yeah, that works, but no, that's not the one I'm talking about.
Here, Joey.
But there's underneath all the different sizes. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Those are good connectors.
Probably more like these, right?
I don't see anything. Just a black screen.
Yeah, Wago made these things.
You have to try your screen share again.
Oh no, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not coming through. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that one right there that you got the square around.
Oh yeah.
413.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got the 3s and the 5s. 3 levers and the 5 levers.
So obviously one.
They're on AliExpress.
Huh? I bought it.
To 30. That's not
Yeah.
bad.
AliExpress.
But it takes too long to get them in. I bought mine off of Amazon. I got, what was it, 50 of the 3 connectors and 45 of the 5 connectors. Oh, I forgot.
I get a pin. These a lot of work.
Yeah.
These are fun to play with.
Because I'm looking for something that's pretty easy to work with, but yeah, I know I can trust. And I know nothing ever easy when it comes to track wiring. We all know that.
Yeah.
But,
Alrighty. Well, we done hit the hour 6 minute mark here. Well, Chris Reeves going to town with these links here.
That's awesome.
But hey, you know.
Is he spamming the chat?
Nah. If he was, I'd be making up some biscuits to get some of it.
So, in using those connectors, right? One is for the feed from the track, and the other one is for the bus. And you clamp the two down next to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's 10 times easier. I'm almost sweating trying to put these suitcase connectors together.
Well, you're gonna have two of your wires going in are gonna be your bus wire.
Right. Well,
and one wire is gonna go up to your.
Okay. So you need a four.
One's gonna pass your bus. No, you need a three, at least a three, because you're gonna have one going up to your track, your bus coming in, and your bus going out.
Oh, right. Okay. So you go wire, feeder, connector, and then another wire to continue on the same cycle all the way.
Yeah.
So you can have a one long wire, a bus wire. It has to be a you have to just go one section at a time until all of it's wired up. To connect.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's not too bad. How would you do switches then?
What do you mean?
Same way.
Same way.
You just use a longer one with more holes in it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
The only thing I'm wiring on the switch is the frog. If I need it, so far with John's engines, I don't need to electrify the frogs. So, alrighty, we're up to 1:08. So, yeah. Let you know. Well, let me flip the page. All right, for February, because this is the last show in January, but February, we got Bill's show on February the 5th, and his guest will be Joe Fugate, so they'll be talking about the Toma. That should make for a good show, too. Then Ralph's Weathering show will start on February the 12th, the following Wednesday. And we also have the Bill show on February the 11th. With Andy and his crew, so with that, I think we'll wrap this one up. I want to say thanks to Joe and Nathan and Tim, and Eric was here earlier. And I want to thank everybody out there in the chat. Appreciate all y'all coming in. Like Bill says, yeah, if y'all don't tune in, we're talking dead air, but we get into some really good conversations at times too. So
they're the reason why we do this. So.
Yep. And don't forget, we do have a room that's open every night for nightly chats. That's whereby.com/Mall Railroading Live, all one word. You can pop in there, talk to the guys, ask questions. Need help on something, jump in there. More than likely, there'll be somebody there that can help you out. So, be safe. Stay off the railroad tracks this weekend. We'll see y'all next week on February the 5th with Big Bill's short series. Bigger is not necessarily better. Y'all have a good night. We'll catch you later.